Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to completely reframe a deeply held societal belief. You know the one that causes absolutely endless guilt, especially for all you highly ambitious people out there. I mean, we've all been there, right? You're staring down a task you know you need to do, a goal you desperately want to hit, and yet you find yourself doing literally anything else. We call ourselves lazy, we beat ourselves up. But what if everything we've been taught about why we delay our goals is just completely wrong? So let's explore the really fascinating psychology behind why procrastination actually protects the ego.
Okay, so let's look right into that super familiar sense of guilt and just completely disrupt what you probably expect to hear. The big question is, are you actually lazy or just protecting yourself? I know, it might feel a little jarring at first to hear it framed that way. We are so conditioned to view a lack of immediate action as just a sign of apathy. But we're looking at the psychology of people who are paradoxically lazy, but also super ambitious. If you've got these massive dreams, but you constantly struggle to actually take the steps towards them, well, it's not a sign that you don't care. Actually, it's a sign that something much deeper and honestly much more protective is happening right beneath the surface of your conscious mind. Let's kick things off with section 1, the myth of laziness.
So, societally, we're taught that procrastination is this terrible moral failing. Just a simple character flaw where you lack willpower or discipline. But the reality is way more complex. It's actually a deep psychological conflict. What's happening inside your brain is literally a clash between your genuine burning desire for achievement and your brain's ancient hardwired instinct to just avoid discomfort at all costs. Basically, your ambition is yelling at you to move forward, but your survival instincts are back there actively pulling the emergency brake. Moving right along to section 2, avoidance as self-protection. So what is avoidance really? Well, avoidance is a misguided defense mechanism, and it's meant to shield the ego from discomfort and that huge looming fear of failure. Putting things off isn't really about a lack of discipline at all. Rather, it's your brain desperately trying to protect your self-worth. Think about it. If you never actually start the project, you can never fail at it, right? If you never put your full 100% effort into that ambitious goal, well, your ego gets to stay safe from the crushing realization that maybe, just maybe, your best wasn't good enough. Your brain is literally prioritizing immediate emotional safety over your long-term success. It actually thinks it's doing you a huge favor. Now, let's dive into section 3, the dopamine relief loop. Let's actually walk through the exact chemical trap that reinforces this behavior in real time. It always starts with step 1, task anxiety. You think about that really difficult thing you have to do, and boom, your stress spikes. So as a reaction, your brain triggers step 2, avoidance. You pull out your phone, open up social media, or, suddenly decide your entire kitchen needs to be spotlessly clean right this second. And instantly, you hit step 3, short-term dopamine relief. Your brain literally rewards you for escaping the perceived threat of the hard task, and you feel this nice, warm wave of calm. But because it's entirely an illusion, it inevitably crashes hard into step 4, long-term guilt. This loop creates a really heavy frustration of unmet ambitions, which of course only increases your anxiety for the next time, and the whole cycle just starts all over again. And that brings us to section 4, perfectionism disguised as excellence. I really want to let this massive aha moment sink in for a second. Perfectionism is simply fear disguised as excellence. As an ambitious person, man, it is so incredibly easy to convince yourself that you're just delaying a launch or you're holding back on publishing a piece of work simply because you have incredibly high standards. You tell yourself, hey, I just demand excellence. But honestly, often the need for things to be absolutely flawless is just your ego in a trench coat hiding its intense fear of failure. Think about it. If it's never perfect, it's never really finished, and therefore, it can never be judged or rejected by the outside world. All right, let's figure out how to fix this in section 5, building actionable systems. So to actually overcome all this, you absolutely have to work with your psychology, not against it. First things first, we must avoid those aggressive hustle culture tropes. Yelling at yourself to just grind harder. Yeah, that doesn't work. It actually increases the anxiety that causes the avoidance loop in the first place. Second, you need to acknowledge the psychological conflict. When you feel that familiar urge to pull away, stop, recognize it, and just say, okay, my brain is just trying to protect me from discomfort. And finally, focus on sustainable habit building instead of raw willpower. By shifting our approach away from that brutal drill sergeant motivation and moving toward empathetic, incremental actions, we can finally outsmart the brain's misguided defenses. You just lower the stakes so your ego doesn't feel the need to smash the panic button. So, the very next time you find yourself suddenly organizing your sock drawer instead of working on that major project, I want you to stop and ask yourself this.
what is my ego afraid of? Like, are you afraid of being judged? Are you afraid of realizing the task is way harder than you thought it would be? Try to help yourself stop labeling yourself as lazy and start looking at the real psychological root of your avoidance. Because once you understand what you're actually protecting yourself from, you can finally give yourself permission to step into the discomfort, take action, and achieve those huge ambitions of yours. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today, and I really hope this totally reframes the way you tackle your biggest goals.